Hey guys, welcome to Silicon Valley Girl. I'm bringing some Christmas mood to your home because I know that this December, especially with all the lockdowns, everything I'm looking forward is Christmas and New Year's. And I'm just hoping to brighten up your day by sitting in front of the Christmas tree in this video. Today, we're gonna talk about productivity apps, about what I do during the day to stay productive. And I wanted to warn you that this video will not be this typical productivity videos that you see on YouTube, because in those videos, people come up with different methods, how they have this one big goal that they split up into sprints and they do things during the week, during the day, and they do marathons and they do this and that. I don't do any of those. The thing is, I'm such a person that really wants freedom, and I'm the most productive on the days when I have nothing planned. When I just wake up and do whatever I want. I start creating, I start writing scripts, and the only method that I used to use was a method when you work for 25 minutes and then you rest for 5 minutes. I know the timing can be different. You can do like 50-minute work, 10-minute rest. But I realized that I use this method only when I do something I don't really enjoy. So for example, a couple of years ago, I was writing my book in Russian and it took months. It was such a long process and I became so tired of it. I was like, oh my God, because I wanted to redo every single page. And it took me a while and I was completely exhausted. So I realized I have to finish that book. I have my publisher who wants me to send them the text in like 4 months. And I have this period of time to finish it. So I did those sprints where I wrote for 25 minutes and then rested for 5 minutes. And whenever I told my brain, you know, Marina, it's only gonna be 25 minutes, it was a lot easier for me to start. Because when I told my brain, Marina, it's gonna be only 50 minutes, my brain was like, no. 50 minutes is a lot. So 25-minute sprints really work for me when I'm doing something I don't really enjoy. When I do something that I love, I don't need any schedules. I don't need my day planned every 15 minutes because this just makes me depressed. And I know people are different, and I also understand that I have big goals. I have a team. I have some things that I want to achieve. So in order to interact with people, in order to have meetings, in order to have things scheduled, of course I have a calendar. Let's talk about the calendar that I use. I use Google Calendar. I started using it back in 2015 when we came to Silicon Valley, and people were like, Marina, send me an invite. I'm like, what does that mean? So I started asking around and people explained that when you're asked to send an invite, that means you're sending an invite in Google or Google Calendar. So I started using Google Calendar myself. And what I really like is that it helps with time zones, especially when you're traveling. And the second thing I like is that I can have multiple calendars. The first calendar that I have is my personal calendar. No one has access to it, just me. So it's like personal stuff, doctors, whatever. The second calendar is open to a lot of members on my team. It's open to Linguatrip members. It is open to my assistant. So for example, my sales manager tells me, Marina, we have this company who wants to sponsor your video. I'll be like, okay, perfect. And she would create an event in my calendar with all the technical details that I need to go through in my video, so that the next time in the studio, I open this calendar and I say, okay, I have this scheduled. I need to film this ad. What happens later is that I send everything to my editors, and when they start working on a video, instead of asking me, Marina, or instead of asking my sales manager, what should we do with this ad, they just open my calendar. They see all the technical details and they know exactly what to do because they see everything that the company wanted. And then once they finish the video, they create an event when this video is going to be published with a link to the video. So my sales manager just takes it from there and sends it. This just removes all the unnecessary communication, especially because we're fully remote, people are in different time zones, and it would have been very difficult to have all of those messenger conversations asking for details, etc. So this way, calendar really saves lives. And when Linguatrip wants me on some call, or when Linguatrip wants me to promote something, they open my calendar, they see what's scheduled, and I have a very clear instruction how to work with my calendar. For example, if I already have a meeting that day, there can be another meeting because I have to spend time with my baby as well. So once you put something like that in practice, you really need to have very clear instructions for everyone on the team so you have all the details about it. Now let's talk about communication. For communication, I use Telegram. This is my work messenger, and everyone who I work with is normally in that messenger. WhatsApp is for family only, and for example, Telegram is completely muted on every single device. Because for Telegram, I have a very strict schedule. I try to switch it off at 7 p.m. because otherwise, it's like with email back in the day, you just keep checking it, what's happening, what's going on, and this is really unhealthy, this is really unproductive, and if you're doing something on your laptop and you have this Telegram icon jumping all the time or making sounds, you just lose focus. And this is something I can't afford when I try to be the most productive. So Telegram is completely muted. WhatsApp is always on because it's only for family and it's like 10 minutes a day. I also use iMessage and Facebook Messenger. Somehow all of my American friends prefer those messengers. If we go into Telegram, the thing I like the most about it is that you can create folders. And then they're all muted, all hidden in folders, and this way you are really focused on chatting to people instead of like constantly checking different channels. By the way, I just realized that 5 years ago, if I made this video, I would tell you every morning I wake up, I check my email and I have 50 emails. That's no longer the case. I think during the day I get 5 to 6 emails, maybe less. And with email, I also have a very strict rule. I check it in the morning and in the evening. Because when we talk about email, I mostly get things that I really need to work on, like signing an agreement. I need to really go through it and make sure there are no things that I want to change, or getting some offers from other companies. So it takes a while. And I've realized I don't want to split my day to check emails, because if something comes up, I would be like, oh, I need to go through this. So it's only in the morning and only in the evening. The next thing that's related both to email and to the notes that I'm going to talk about after this, when I did a lot of email communications, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna use all the folders and I'm gonna put every new email to the folder with the company's name, or maybe it's my lure, so I would put everything in one folder. And then I realized that I spent a lot more time arranging my emails than actually looking for them, because it's a lot easier to look for them by just typing things in search. So if you're still doing it, really stop there and ask yourself whether you want to continue doing it. I know some people just love order, but in my case, I realized that I spend so much time doing that and it's completely unproductive. If you want to hear some fancy app that I use for taking notes, unfortunately, there isn't any fancy app. I use notes that are on iPad, iPhone, and Mac. They're all synchronized. I have an iPad Pro Mini with an Apple Pencil, and I love writing notes with my hand. It's a nightmare when you want to search for something, because sometimes I read in Russian, sometimes I read in English, and this AI is not too smart and it cannot recognize most of my handwriting. But the thing is, before having this iPad, I had so many notebooks, I had so many pieces of paper everywhere. And once we started traveling, I was like, I just need to carry everything with me, because I need this notebook because it's for Language Trip, and I need this notebook because it's for my YouTube channel. And now I just have everything in one place, and that's amazing. Let's talk about folders in notes. I have a lot of folders, but again, I had a period of my life where I was like, I want to sort every single note and I want to put it into a folder so I have everything organized, etc. And then I realized I never use the folders. I only use the folders in 2 cases. If I'm taking a course, so I would just put all the notes that I was taking during this course into a folder. And the second is Instagram. So whenever I create a post, I write it in notes and then I would put it in the Instagram folder, just because later on I might want to use it on YouTube, or maybe I want to use it for one of my scripts, or maybe I want to use it in one of my emails. I just want to have everything in one place. And whenever I post, I try to create something meaningful, so it's good to have all of those meaningful things in one place. One of the notes that I always have on top is a list of things that I need to do during the week or during the next week. This is something not very urgent, but something that I have to do. For example, I don't know, automate investing, or sign this contract, or figure out 401k plan, or whatever. Like, these tasks should be performed within the next week or 2 weeks, and it's very easy to forget about them. I don't like putting them in calendar. You know, finding the right investment platform is not something I have to do at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. It's just something I have to do in the next couple of weeks. So it's just a note with a list of tasks. I try to keep around 5-7 tasks, because yes, I can come up with a lot of those, but if it's more than 5, 7, 10, I just become overwhelmed with the amount of things I need to do. Now let's talk about calls. I have calls with a team. Some of them are regular, some of them are not. It is very important for me to prepare for every single call, because if I come there with no agenda, it just means wasting everyone's time. So if you feel that you have too many calls on your team and they are calls just for the sake of calls, stop doing them. Because we made this mistake. We had so many calls planned with a lot of people, and then we realized that during the calls we were just chatting about nothing. So I really minimized the amount of calls to a couple per week, and they have to be really, really meaningful, like discussing strategy or discussing a current problem. But calling for the sake of calling really makes you unproductive during the day. Because for me, again, it works in a way that if every single minute of my day is filled with something, I don't have this time for creativity. I don't have this time to really get excited about what I do because it's just, following my schedule. Another app that you guys probably started using a lot this year is Zoom. And when it came around, I was like, why would people use Zoom? There is Skype. The problem with Skype is that you have your ID. And if you're doing a lot of consultations or if you're doing a lot of calls, people start following up on Skype. I never check my Skype. And people start getting offended, like you never replied, and I just don't check it. With Zoom, that problem is solved. You don't have an ID. Well, you have an ID, but you don't share it. So whenever you attend a meeting, it's just a link. It's anonymous. People can't follow up with you on Zoom. And another great thing that I love about Zoom is that when you create a call there, it automatically goes to your calendar. It automatically goes to your colleagues' calendars, so you don't have to chat again and ask, do you want to jump on a call? Oh, here's the link. Oh, don't forget to join, blah, blah. It just goes into their calendars. Very easy. Now let's talk a little about social networks. If you watched my video about being unproductive and kind of depressed, I talked about Instagram. So with Instagram or with any other social network, the problem is you keep checking it because more content keeps coming in. You need to stop that influx of content. So what I did with Instagram, I have this Instagram, which is my main Instagram, where I post stories, where I interact with my followers. I unfollowed almost everyone, and I follow like 33 people. I muted them. And this way, whenever I go to Instagram, nothing's happening. I have another profile where I follow all my friends and they're not muted, but I only go there when I really have free time, maybe like once a day or even less. And this way I was able to reduce my time on Instagram for 2 to 3 hours to around 40 minutes every day. And I use those 40 minutes mostly to create content, not consume content. You can do this with any other social network. One of my favorite social networks these days is Twitter. I know it's very political and there is also a lot of hate there. But the thing is, you need to follow the right people. So the people I follow are Paul Graham, Gary Tan, Lenny Ratajkowski, like a lot of talented people from Silicon Valley, a lot of people who work for big corporations. So they sort news for me. I don't have to go to any news outlet or news resource. I just follow those people and they talk about things that matter for me as well. They talk about business, they talk about major political things. So I just follow them, and that really helped me clear my mind and that really helped me consume more valuable content. So if you want to follow those people, just go to Twitter, Lingua Marina, and see who I follow. I don't really post there, so no need to follow me. I sometimes do, but really rarely. But again, I follow people who are really they're not really present on any other social network. So this is why Twitter has become one of my favorite social media platforms recently. As a person who creates content and consumes content, of course, I use YouTube. I have YouTube Premium because I just can't watch all the ads. We have a family subscription, so it's a lot cheaper. I just connected my mom, my husband, and my husband's parents, and we can all enjoy ad-free content. I also use Creator Studio a lot. Creator Studio is an app for YouTubers where you can just check your comments, where you can check how your video is performing, and it's on my phone, so I use it every single day. That was it for me for today, guys. As you've noticed, this is not a typical productivity video. I even haven't mentioned Trello. I haven't mentioned Microsoft Project or whatever. I am this person who really feels that if I have less planned, I am a lot more productive. And I know, guys, there are so many people out there. We have our own personalities. And, I used to watch Gary Vee videos a lot. And when I watched him, he was like, wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30, first call, 5 a.m., company meeting. I was like, oh my God, he's so productive. Maybe I should do the same. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try Gary Vee style. And I started waking up at like 5 or 6 a.m. every single day. And in 3 days, my jaw started hurting. Like this was the first time something that happened to me. I couldn't speak because my jaw was really hurting. And I started reading on Google, and this is a consequence from lack of sleep. And I realized, waking at 5 a.m. is not my thing. I feel a lot better when I wake up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., but not 5. So you can try different things. You can listen to a lot of people, but really it's up to you what stays in your routine and what doesn't. And if you feel that a person who you admire has everything planned, every minute planned, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. It means that it works for that type of personality. So really try things. Don't try to copy someone. Try to listen to yourself. When you feel the most productive, when you feel the best, those are your methods. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video up to the very end. If you're not yet subscribed to Silicon Valley Girl, hit the red button down below. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button. And I can't wait to read your comments. What are your productivity methods? What works for you? Because all the methods that I mentioned in this video were taken from my friends, from friends of friends, something I heard of on YouTube, and then I just left those that work for me. Thank you guys so much again for watching this video up to the very end. See you soon in my next vlogs. Bye bye.